Hello, beautiful soul, and welcome to the Little Reader's house. I'm the Little Reader, and you're in my house. I've got a flaming stick of Palo Santo in my hand, and we're just gently allowing it to do its flaming thing. And then when it is done, it will do a smoking thing. Oh. And then when that's done, it'll do a sedentary thing where it doesn't do anything. Whoa, that was cool. So, we've got this. And we're just Palo Santoing up the place, the space. Clear the air. You know, my house is haunted. Not my bedroom, strangely, but the house is. One day we'll talk about that. Because, we'll have to. But for now, we're talking about spirit and what it is that spirit would like to deliver to us today. Look at all this smoke. I love it. Wish I could make like a little design. What the message is that spirit would like to deliver to us today was already given in advance. And that is how shifting our awareness into our heart center can transform our relationships. Oh yeah, transform our relationships with one another, with ourselves, with inanimate objects. I often feel like I am the spokesperson for inanimate objects. Maybe it's because there's a certain level of perception that I share with them. So I feel compelled to get that level of perception awareness out there. Like, hey, inanimate objects feel things too. What's this Palo Santo feeling as it burns? As it burns on behalf of us. It gives us its body into the fire so that we can have cleansing, so that we can have protection. It's a beautiful thing. And it's not like the Palo Santo is complaining. The Palo Santo is honored. So we can meet that, join with it through our heart center by feeling honored as well. Every little thing is a miracle. My sweet, beautiful soul. By the way, I love you. Every little thing is a miracle. And if we allow the mind to be the only one responsible for processing our experience, we will become overwhelmed. The anxiety will be so crippling if we rely on the mental realm as our intermediary between our life, our awareness inside of us, and our life experience, the things we get to take in from the outside. If the mind is the only intermediary, which it is for most of us right now in the collective, we're living through the lens of mind. So everything's based on opinions, based on preferences, based on judgments, based on analysis and logic. It's really hard to see the miracles of everything, the miracle of this. Like the mind can take in that this is a miracle and fully understand that logically, and maybe even generate an emotion, like it can supercharge a chemical reaction in the body so we get a little emotional hit off of the thought, like, oh, we get to juice that thought for an emotional experience. And then the mind's like, okay, my work here's done. Can we go back to my existential crisis, please? The mind can lack stamina. Even a mind with a lot of stamina. We spoke about this in another transmission. These minds have so much stamina, but because of the effort required to use the mind for purposes that it was not necessarily intended for, caveats to that, but at a later time. Because of the effort required to use the mind to create an emotional experience, something that it's not the mind's specialty. This draws out our energy, it drains us. So if we are engaging in life through the mind as our primary source of interaction, and first we have to synthesize all of our emotions through our mind. Is it good? Is it bad? Do I like it? Do I hate it? Can I generate a good emotion off of it? Why is it such an ugly emotion? This is horrible. Everything gets filtered through the mind. This drains the body's reserves. So we can have a day of totally being mellow on the bed, but if we were stuck in the realm of mind the whole time, we were draining our energy. We're shifting our awareness away from the heart center where it fuels us and it optimizes us. And we take all of that awareness and we deposit it, hopefully not with that sound effect, into the realm of mind. And then we're not supercharged anymore. We're depressed. It's horrible. It's apathy, it's anxiety, it's depression, it's existential crisis all day, every day. And I love our collective human spirit because we've even made it funny. There are memes about the existential crisis of daily living on the interwebs, darling. I love the human spirit. It's another thing to be so grateful for. I'm so grateful for it because of the resilience of the human spirit. Even in not knowing a solution, it can still step back and make a joke, bring in some levity, bring in some lightheartedness. Bless the human spirit. So we have a gorgeous collective that is tired and depressed, not fully knowing why. We know that our lifestyle is not helping, but we don't know where our power comes from to rectify or to, at the very least, balance the scales. Power comes from the heart. And the sooner our awareness can be returned to that center, the sooner a lot of our symptoms can ease up. Ease up. We're ready. The collective is over it. That's why I have the gift of your beautiful presence right now, glorious soul. That's why I have the honor of communing with you. You're over it. The little reader, over it. Mind, meant to be a tool. A tool that is becoming less and less relevant, thanks to other mental pioneers. It will be some linear time before the mind goes out of style, and the realm of mind will always be there for us. Just like the astral realm is there for us when we sleep, even if we can't fully comprehend the relevance to our daily life. We're like, why do I have dreams? But it's there for us. At some point, the mental realm will kind of be like a dream too, and we'll be living through our heart. This is what people call the fifth dimension. It's no accident, the fifth chakra, Anahata. So, to the juice. How can living through our heart improve the quality of our relationships with everyone? Spirit, take it away. Have you ever been lying next to somebody in bed? Friend, lover, family? Stranger, perhaps? That's interesting. Tell me more. And in an effort to cultivate intimacy with them, you turn around in bed, thrust over onto the side and say, What are you thinking about? What are you thinking about? What are you thinking? What's on your mind? What are you thinking about? Instinctively, our awareness knows all. But we have a lot of layers between feeling the awareness within us and identifying as that eternal awareness and walking around through life as that eternal awareness. There are a lot of layers between that and the identity that most of us carry, which is based on our form, based on our beliefs, on our habits, our opinions, all the external factors, nouns, persons, places, and things. That's how most of us operate out of. But even that, what many call ego, even that personality knows there is a way to connect non-physically with another being. But because of the type of world we live in, we live in a world that the most recent wave of human evolution was all about the mind. The mind. Some may even see parallels between the operation of the mind's energy, which is projective, assertive, aggressively constructive, encapsulating, must understand, must control, must contain. Some may see parallels between that and the role of masculine energy and masculine behavior over the past few thousands of years. So it's been a time of mind. Time of mind. Someone write that down. The world is built on mind. The world we know. You and I, beautiful soul. So it is no accident that we look to build intimacy in our relationships. Juicy, juicy intimacy that goes beyond the physical connection. We love that. Boy, do we love it. But you can only physically connect, feasibly, for so long, and then we're looking for another way to build intimacy. Not to mention there are some people who cannot build or utilize physical intimacy, which is the connection of forms, any way you like, to feel wholeness and oneness. Long distance relationships. What do? So, we roll over in bed, or we look across the room to our platonic loved one and we say, what are you thinking? What's on your mind? Because we want to connect in the non-physical dimension. And by us meeting on the same mental wavelength, intimacy. And that's beautiful, and it's real. You can share intimacy with another individual by sharing mental wavelengths, by sharing thoughts. What you're doing is you're moving both of your awarenesses into the mental realm. And as your awarenesses float around in the mental realm, you agree to meet at a specific location in the mental realm. That's what sharing a thought is. Let's meet over there. Meet you here at 5 o'clock. We're meeting in the mental realm. We're sharing space in the mental realm. We're sharing togetherness, closeness, safety in the mental realm. Beautiful. Beautiful. Wonderful. It's got its perks. You can generate feelings of connection from a thought. And you can generate feelings of connection from shared presence in the mental realm or shared presence anywhere. That's what intimacy is. Physical intimacy, we're sharing presence here with our forms. Mental intimacy, we're sharing presence with one another in the mental realm. However, Spirit's making us more and more telepathic right now in an effort to decrease our reliance on the mental realm to build intimacy. Let me move my leg real quick. Because she's sleeping. There you go. Wake up. Spirit would like us to decrease our reliance on sharing space in the mental realm so that we can increase our curiosity about sharing space in the heart center. Heart center. Ooh, what's that like? Now, if I love somebody, doesn't that mean we're already sharing space in the heart center? Isn't that like after we do physical intimacy and mental intimacy, then aren't we by default? No. Nay. And many a relationship has, both platonic and romantic, has tanked in a massive explosionary fashion because the participants were under the impression that sharing proximity in the mental and physical realms was sufficient to sharing heart-centric intimacy. But it's not so. Some relationships that are alive right now have this incredible intellectual rapport that's been built. Both participants, or all participants, suppose there's more than two, are sharing thoughts. They're sharing thoughts. And they're sharing physical proximity. And they're sharing good feelings. They juice the feelings. Like you can juice a thought for a feeling. It's a roundabout way of touching the heart. But you can generate feelings through thoughts, certainly. But Spirit's saying, old paradigm. Ready for the new. We're ready to go directly to the heart, directly to the source. And this realization that we're about to have, which the little reader has no clue what it is. So, Spirit, come through. This realization we're about to have is one of the reasons that a lot of twin flame relationships and soulmate relationships have been caught in this weird telepathic haze where, let's say, for instance, you, beautiful soul, you can feel your twin flame. You can feel their thoughts. Again, telepathy is increased. You can even hear their thoughts. You can sense when they're thinking about you. You can sense their proximity. You can sense their closeness. You see these signs. It's really strange. There's this strong, strong pull to either a specific individual who you know of or a rando that you've never met, but you can feel the tug. The tug's on your heart, though. And the efforts to understand it through the mind fall short. All you get is telepathic phenomenon, but nothing manifests in the tangible realm of form. Why? You may even have the physical intimacy, but the third door has not unlocked. Why? Because we need to unlock it. It's time to unlock it, beautiful soul. So, how do we do? Breath to start. There is no future, Spirit says, where humanity will miss the benefits of breathing presently, of living presently. Present moment awareness is the first prerequisite to getting into the heart center, to opening the door. Present moment awareness. Because the heart center only exists in the present moment. That's true of the mental realms as well. But because the mental realms take us through linear time, the mental realms is how we time travel, so we can go to the past, think about a memory. Or machinate on the future. Think about the future. So it feels like the realm of mind is timeless, but it's just as present as any other realm. The realm of form is also present. When we're disconnected from our body, something can happen to it, or we can miss a symptom for a long period of time. And then when we come back to form, it's like waking up out of a haze and we get present with their body, and then we're like, wow, when did I get debilitating back pain? When did that happen? When did this lump arise? When did that happen? So every realm is only present momently available. We're just so used to being in the realm of mind that we have gotten it all twisted up with time. Present moment awareness of the heart is how we open the door. Then we bring an attitude of openness and support, love. This is why a self-love practice is a non-negotiable at this time in human evolution. It is non-negotiable to have a self-love practice right now, because if our esteem is low or if we hate ourselves, it's very difficult to bring non-judgmental, loving awareness. The awareness we bring is going to be hyper-judgmental and hostile, very, very angry. So steps 1 and 2, develop a habit of present moment awareness through meditation, breath work, some kind of mindfulness training. There are always links below. And step number 2, develop a self-love practice. Heavy, make it your priority. Self-love. Every aspect of self. Love for the mind, for your personal connection to the mental realm. How do you do it? What does that control valve look like? Is it always open with feedback from the mental realm assaulting you? Or do you close it from time to time? Self-love for the form. Is it nourished physically, in terms of movement, and in terms of sustenance, and in terms of hydration, and in terms of rest? These are worlds, entire worlds that Spirit's moving us toward. And beautiful soul, don't be overwhelmed. It's your destiny. It's all of our destinies. So whether it's now or later, the time will come. You'll be ready when you're ready. Once you've developed the presence, and once you've developed the self-love, the door opens, and you can hold an awareness for the center of your being. And simply watch what goes on inside of yourself with a definitive focus on this area. 5th chakra, Anahata, heart. And in spending time with this, you begin to activate. Superpowers is the best way to describe it. New sensitivities, new ways of relating, new ways of seeing others, new ways of holding space for others, new ways of relating to others that don't require words. And it's tempting to think, well, wait, I've already got the telepathic relationship thing. Telepathy is already way up in the collective. I can feel it all. We say feel, but I can think it all. I can think and then generate feelings from my thoughts. Different animal, my sweet love, different animal. It's not telepathic anymore. What begins to happen is you develop a relationship with this space and you open your heart up with present moment awareness and self-love practices, is suddenly you're following a compass and its lead becomes a non-negotiable surrender. You will begin a day with an idea of how you want that day to go, how you need that day to go. But when your compass navigates you away from that, instead of feeling the soul-crushing anxiety that usually comes when we get an impulse to do something that wasn't planned, or when we have an interruption through external circumstance, instead of experiencing soul-crushing anxiety, you experience the exhilaration of, oh my goodness, my heart just course corrected me. Like Siri, when I get going on the 405 north versus the 405 south, that never happens. It happens. And I must follow the call. What happens to your relationships is the ones that are meant to stay become 1,000-fold richer. Simply by being in the presence of an individual who's awakened their heart space. You cannot help but affect the other person. So this doesn't have to be a two-way sort of exchange. It doesn't have to be. It would be beautiful if it was. But it doesn't have to be. And the relationships that are meant to stay in your life will begin to bloom in ways you didn't know that they were capable of blooming. Suddenly, their best interests come naturally to you to protect. Suddenly, you feel their love as an all-encompassing form of peace, knowing they're never separate from you, as if they themselves were living in your heart like an entity within you. And they are able to infuse you with their strengths, with their insights, with their wisdoms, with everything they've ever learned and done, suddenly becomes part of you too. And it's wordless. It's not a conversation. It doesn't require mental tickling, although you can still do that for fun. Don't worry. Spirit's not taking that away. It's just adding more and more and more. Suddenly in this heart space, everything is heightened. Every form of intimacy, physical or mental, doesn't matter. Because the link of love, of your two awarenesses becoming aware of one another, by virtue of you having become aware of your own source, a new electricity flows through the relationship that reinvigorates it. This is what makes a relationship timeless. Individuals who are still in love after 40, 50, 60 years cracked the code to opening their door to source awareness early on. Beings that we call ahead of their time are just opening doors to dimensions that we can only dream of for now. And these individuals know that by practicing present moment awareness and love within themselves and cultivating this and opening that door to their heart, they can approach each moment as new. And when an individual like yourself, beautiful soul, approaches a moment like this, like it's brand new, no matter how many times you've seen this face, no matter how many times you've heard this voice, when you approach this as a new moment, you glean infinity from it. You take in valuable information that your mind can't even register, but it translates into you becoming a more loving, joyful, blissful being. And that echoes into the work you create, the work you produce, the art you create, the conversations you hold, if you're going for mental stimmy, short for stimulation, the physical intimacy you engage in, the silence between you, even the distance is enriched. To open the door to your heart gives life to your relationship. It gives life to the relationship that is typically missing. Typically, Spirit says we have two individuals coming together, trying to make something happen. Each one in their own silo. What this does, opening the portal of the heart when one individual does it, and the relationship is meant to last, it draws this invisible thread. I'm seeing actually a rainbow arching from one heart to the other. And it creates a third entity between these two individuals called the relationship. And that is no longer an idea or an ideal. It's a reality. And that relationship beats. It has a life force. It has a destiny of its own. It has a personality. And it lives within both individuals simultaneously. Even when just one person opens up their heart center and lets that awareness leak out, for the individuals, for the relationships that are meant to last in your life, they will be invigorated by proxy, by that life emerging from your heart center, gushing out of you like a fountain and touching everyone you meet with present moment awareness and the love that you've been cultivating on your private time. It just gushes out of you. It gushes. And it turns this third entity, the relationship, into a reality that does so much of the work for you. It no longer requires you to put forth action that feels like effort. You will put forth action, but it will nourish. It will not feel like it's draining your cup. It will feel like it's invigorating you, like it's precisely the hit of the drug you were yearning for and didn't even know it. And again, this is on the relationships that are meant to last, the relationships that are aligned with your heart's path. So many of us are hesitant to open the door to our heart because we know when we do that and we really start loving ourselves and we really start holding present moment awareness with the haps that are going on in here, the chesticle region, we know a lot of relationships are going to fall away. Let's look at this for a moment. It's not burning anymore, but it served its purpose. I can smell the beautiful scent in the air, and it will linger for a long time. It permeated everything, including me. No form lasts forever, beautiful soul. And when we're in a relationship that is not being met through that heart center, relationship where we're trying to generate a lot of intimacy through the mental connection and the physical connection, we're holding on to forms and half forms. The forms are the physical and the half forms are the mental. But in the realm of the heart, we're not holding on to anything. That's the difference. It's complete and utter present moment awareness mixed with this beautiful detachment. We're trusting. We're developing trust. And that trust leads us to the relationships that are meant to last, that will have a life of their own, that will be vastly different than anything we've ever experienced. But it doesn't make the old relationships, even the ones we're in right now, beautiful soul, less beautiful or less relevant. They will stay with you even when the form has departed. It will stay with you because it was part of your path too. It was part of your path too. Spirit says this is a readiness game, all of this. We're talking mighty fine, high and mighty about the realm of the heart. And for many of us, this concept will remain entertainment. These videos will remain entertainment for years. The seeds will be dropped and they'll sprout later. So, until you're really ready to open the door to the heart, it's not going to happen. Nothing's going to be ripped away from you, beautiful soul. For some who are watching, though, these messages are long overdue. It's what you've been hungry for starving for. And to stumble upon this and say, yes, I've felt it. I have felt the world changing and everything about it changing, and the way my mind processes and the way my awareness is moving through my body, all changed. And I know I'm ready to open this door. And when you open the door, you'll find the shift to be graceful, Spirit says. Graceful. I'm trying to be graceful with my hand movements, but I don't know. No luck. Don't look at me, the form. Feel the truth of this, my beautiful, beautiful friend. When you open the door to your heart and you just dabble in the present moment awareness, in the self-loving habits, in holding presence for yourself with love to feel all that you are in any given moment, learning to love yourself, trust yourself, honor yourself, value yourself, first as a form, then as a mind, then as a spirit and a living awareness, the ineffable. It will be a graceful transition out of your present life, even if it seems to be, for my beautiful tarot family, like a tower moment. It'll be a graceful tower moment. It'll bring temperance. It'll bring peace. It'll bring the star. It'll bring the lovers. It'll bring that which is aligned with you, with your destiny, and always was. But that doesn't mean that everything else that's in your life right now wasn't. They don't have to be mutually exclusive. It's a bridge we're building here. And a bridge honors where you were and where you're going. Connects them both. So, the long and short of it. How will opening the door to your heart benefit your relationships? Well, it will breathe a life into them that makes them a living entity that evolves on its own, creates on its own, transforms on its own. There isn't a lot to compare it to right now because, again, this iteration of humanity is just at the brink of this next step into our evolution, shifting from all of our awareness in the realm of mind to the realm of heart. However, if you need something to compare it to bliss. Compare it to safety. Compare it to the connections you've had with animals who offer an unconditional love. Animals frequently connect through their heart space, not their mind. Compare it to unconditional love. Compare it to relationships you've seen that don't just boast a beautiful compatibility, which is a whole other topic for another time, but that boast a thriving longevity. Thriving longevity. They are still in love. How? Because there's a third party in the mix. And that's the awareness of the divine. That's the love of spirit. That is the part of divinity that resides in you, that animates you, is brought to the table to play in the relationship. And when that awareness and that presence is brought to anything, not just your relationships, it turns it into magic. Magic, undeniable magic. That's what we deal with here. So beautiful soul. That's where we're leaving it today. I invite you to open that door, throw it open, and run in screaming with your hair all wild. That's what I do. And see where it takes you. Because if there's one thing I know for sure, it's that you are so very worthy of love. More love and never less. That's your destiny. Now or later, whenever you're ready. So until we meet again, beautiful soul, I'm sending you all the love I got. Bye for now.